Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do my very last tag of 2023 and that is the end of the year tag. We are at the end of the year. It's time to revisit all of the books we've read, books we've liked, books we loved, books we hated, books we were just okay. We're just going to talk about them today. There's a tag that has a ton of questions. I believe Destiny created it, so I'll link the original tag video down below as well as all the questions. There's a lot of them. We're going to talk about 2023 reads, so let's get into it. First up, we have, most disappointing read of the year. And I think for this one, the main one that comes to me is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. I was really excited for this one. The cover, super cute. It was set kind of like in Camelot times, medieval times, where it's about a character that's an assistant to a villain. And I was like, that's such a cool premise. It was being blown up on TikTok because it started kind of on there. And honestly, I did not enjoy it whatsoever. It was a big disappointment, so we're just gonna move on. Then we have Underdog Book of the Year, and for this one I'm putting a somewhat recent read, and that is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I read this a couple months ago, fell in love with it, haven't heard anybody talk about it. I really liked it. It's about a main character that begins the book. She has a boyfriend that she's had for years and he breaks up with her. She's heartbroken. Somehow she manages to do this spell where she's like, I wish I never even met him. And then she wakes up and what do you know? She's in that reality where she never met her ex-boyfriend. But, oh man, that also means she never met her best friend. That's a guy that she met the same night as her ex-boyfriend. And so the whole book she's trying to get her best friend to like remember her, and then she maybe gets feelings, and it's just so cute. I don't hear anyone talk about it. I could also say honestly, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Fourth Wing got very hyped up this year, and so with that I decided to read this one. And I loved it. It's a vampire fantasy that I've heard a little bit about, but not a lot. It's a true underdog, and I love it. Then we have a book that was overhyped. This can, I think books get hyped up every day. At the end of the day, it's reading, so you do you and have fun with it. If you like a book that's overhyped, that's great. If you like a book that's underhyped, that's great. I'm not here to judge you at all. But there are some books I've read that were very hyped up that I don't think personally lived up to the hype, but again, that is me. And again, please take that to note with the book I'm about to show because it is really, really loved. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I thought this was overhyped. I didn't think it was that amazing. I also didn't know it was YA till I read it, so that's on me. But, a lot of people love it with good reason. The writing is beautiful, and I might read the sequel, so I don't know. For me, it just wasn't it for me, and that's okay, because I know it's it for a lot of other people, and I'm happy for them. We have favorite book couple of the year, and I was going through and I was like, oh, wait, I should know this one easily. Van and Aiden from The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I loved this book, and I love this couple. Oh, obsessed. I said obsessed. I meant obsessed. We also have favorite main character of the year, and for that one, easily for me, is Lucy from The Wishing Game, one of my favorite books of the year. Lucy just reminded me a lot of myself. She really wanted to do the right thing. She wanted to adopt this boy, and she was going to do everything she could, and she was just an amazing, heartfelt, strong character, and I loved her deeply. So easily my favorite character of the entire year. I have a book that surprised you. For this one, I'm gonna have to go with How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This is a book that I've seen not a lot of great reviews of. Some people love it. I loved it. I read a lot of Grady Hendrix books before, and I really do enjoy them. I've learned that they're satirical, they're funny, also yet scary, but I never expected to read a book by him that will make me scared senseless on one page, and then the next page I'm bawling my eyes out because it's very emotional. I would have never freaking expected that, but this surprised me greatly. I loved it. I think the reason why I loved it is because it felt very familiar to me with the brother-sister relationship and things like that. Like I felt very akin to this book, which is why I think it affected me so much, but man, it surprised the mess out of me. We have favorite new author you discovered in 2023, and I think for me it would have to be Mariana Zapata. I read this one and I read All Roads Lead Here by her, and I really enjoy them. I really love her writing, and I love her slow burn romances, and they're organic, and so I would have to say her for sure is my favorite new author I discovered for myself. A lot of people have also discovered. She's been around for a while, but I'm just now getting around to her, and I'm beating myself up a lot for that. Happiest read of the year. So I read a lot of really cute romances. I really do. There's some that I just can think that I can think of that put a smile to my face, but the one that I thought of, it's gonna be a little unconventional, so just go with me. My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. This was such a fun, cute book. It is not to be taken seriously at all. Like, the big end plot, like, confrontation is just, it is so absurd. It gets over within a matter of like a page or two, and you're like, what? It's just meant to be a fun vampire romance, and that's exactly what I got from it. It was cute, it was silly, about a vampire that has been in a coma for a while, and he's like still thinking it's like Bridgerton times, you know? And it's just funny. I loved it. It was the happiest read for me of the year, honestly. I thought it was. Then we have the most frustrating book you read, and for this one, I'd have to say The Engagement Party by Darby Kane. It was my first Darby Kane book. I wanted to really like it because it was kind of like a nod to 90s horror, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, which my jam, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Fred Rich Greener, where I felt like, come on. And I read it and I loathed it. Like, it was so frustrating because all the characters were horrible and they made dumb decisions and they kept making dumb decisions. And by the end, you're like, I don't care anymore. And that's exactly how I felt reading this. So definitely most frustrating. Best adaptation of the year, and for ease, I think for everyone, we can all say Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy Jones and the Six was a really good adaptation. I don't think it was like a 5 out of 5 for me personally, because I just love the book so much, and I will always think the book is better than the show or movie, but that's just how we are. But I think the casting was really well done. I think the music was really well done. The setting was really well done. So it was a pretty solid adaptation. Like, you can tell that they really worked hard with the source material and really tried their best. And I do think it could win some awards. I don't know how much, but I do think it was a good adaptation. So I would have to say that one. And then also the second season, It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. I think that was really good. We get the really true triangle of Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, and I really liked seeing that. It was much more emotional in the first season, but I enjoyed it. And I really think also like that, they are doing a lot of changes with the series, but for the most part, they're staying pretty true to the source material, which I always really enjoy, but I always expect changes because that's how it goes. So both of them, I think, were really good adaptations. Then we have longest book you read, and that would have to be the sequel to this book right here, and the sequel is called Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and that was 665 pages. That's actually really big for me. I'm very proud of myself, so I will pat myself on the back for that one. And then the shortest book you read is Same Time Next Year. It's a novella by Tessa Bailey. It's literally 144 pages, so like easy breezy beautiful. Took me a while to read it because it's the end of the year, so I'm just kind of slumpy, but that's how it goes. And then we have favorite covers of the year. So many really good ones, honestly, like so many. I mean, I was talking bad about it, but Divine Rivals, like, these covers are stunning. Will I buy the second one because of the cover? There's a possibility, but it's beautiful. We also have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, another beautiful cover. Ultimately though, my favorite cover of the year is Wayward by Amelia Hart, and I really love this book too. Like, this is a stunning cover. We have a book that you cannot stop thinking about. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I read this last month and I was like, I've been meaning to read it, I just didn't, and I was like, oh, I'll read it, you know, everyone's been talking about it, I'm sure I'll like it. No, I freaking ended up loving it. It's probably like one of my top 5s of the year that's coming in at the very end of the year. Like, what? Such a good, such an amazing, beautiful romance story that I just cannot stop thinking about it because it was so beautiful. We have Cringiest book you read this year, and for this one I'm gonna have to go with Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I really love her books. This one sounded really promising between a ghostwriter and the guy that like she hooked up with one night. They didn't know each other, but then she learns that she's gonna be his ghostwriter, and so they decide to experiment. The romance just wasn't good. It was cringy. I'll say that. Also, Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. It was very cringy. The romance I did not like whatsoever. Didn't like this book, so cringy. Unpopular book that you loved. And so for this one, it's gonna be weird because you're gonna be like, that's not unpopular. Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I say it's unpopular because everyone loves Emily Henry, but for the most, especially on BookTube, I've seen not everybody like this book. Like, more often than not, I see people say like, it was okay, it wasn't that great. I personally love this book, but I think it's all about where you're at in life. This book is about a whole bunch of 30-year-olds, like middle of the road 30-year-olds, I'm 35, that are struggling with friendships, where they're at in life, and how to maintain that while starting their own families. And I very much felt seen in this book because I'm going through that. When you're in your 30s, you get it. So I love this book. It's unpopular in the fact that I don't think everyone loves it as much as me. That's just me personally. Like I said, I see more people than not be like, it wasn't that great. I don't think it was that great. I thought it was amazing. It's my favorite Emily Henry book, and I don't see anybody say that. So that's why I'm saying that. The highest and lowest rated book she read this year, I honestly don't know how to look that up. So I don't know. Favorite quotes of the year. Another one. I'm not a big quote person. I do not annotate my books. I don't remember a lot. So, probably something for Fourth Wing, okay? We'll just say that. Book with the most unique concept. And for this one, I put 7 Year Slip because it's all about like time travel and going back in time and things like that. And I thought it was very intriguing. That we have The Unmaking of June Farrow, which is also like kind of a time travel thing as well. We also have Wayward, which is set 3 different time periods. So it's a lot about time. And I think each one of these had very unique concepts to them that I would recommend checking them out. And the last question I have is book that you will probably reread, that you would reread. And I would have to say Fourth Wing. I don't reread a lot. I really don't. But I would reread this one. And I was a junkie. And I was a fan of it. I did fall on the hype train with it. It is what it is. I liked it a lot. I will gladly read about Dragon Riders. But there you have my end of the year tag, a lot of information on books and things like that. And I hope you got to see some of what I liked, what I didn't like, and just, I'm excited to bring you my favorite books of the year coming soon. Very, very soon, because the year's going to end soon. That's insane. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.